Hey guys, this video is going to teach you how to take your Airbnb listing and get direct bookings in a way that's legal, not against Airbnb's terms of service. You will not get banned, I promise. It's going to be quick and easy. Buckle in, open up your computer, and let me show you a few things. So first, we need your Airbnb listing. That's one tab. Second, you need a Google account for your business. Second tab. And third, you need a direct booking website. I hope you have one, but even if you're working on your direct booking website still, that's okay. There's stuff you can apply in this video right away, and then do the rest when you have it. So watch till the end. My name is Sean Rocky Geach. I turn Airbnb hosts into real live profitable business owners. Welcome to the movement. The first thing we need to do to get you ready to get direct bookings is we need to consider a name for your listing and a name for your company. And we're going to look at this through the lens of non-competitive keywords. And if you don't know what a keyword is, here's the skinny that you need to know. If you typed Airbnb into YouTube, you might have found this video. Airbnb is a keyword. If you typed in my name, that's also a keyword. And I promise you, my name doesn't get nearly the search that Airbnb does, but it's two ways to find me on YouTube. I've had to work very, very hard to be searchable with the word Airbnb. It takes me almost no work to be searchable with my last name, right? That one's a doozy. So in that way, my last name is a non-competitive keyword. And when we pick a name, we want to pick a name that if someone was intending to find us, it would be easy for us to know that that keyword is safe. And that's why you might find that the big companies have easy names and the small companies have harder names, because big companies have money and they can spend tens of millions of dollars a year making sure that if their company's name was Apple, that they could just always show up on search. Apple's a really competitive word. It's all over the world and it's very basic. If you tried to name one of your Airbnb listings Apple, you would not be able to show up in search. And I hope that makes sense. If that doesn't quite make enough sense yet, put your questions down in the comments and I will clarify at this point. So as we move forward with the intent that people are going to see our name somehow and then search us, we want to pick a name that's not going to be expensive to try to defend. So instead of Broken Arrow Lodge, which Broken Arrow is very popular, there's a movie and other stuff, you could say Half Arrow Lodge. It might still have the same flavor, just not nearly as often searched for. Another example, instead of Cherry Farms Ranch, you could say Cherry Farmland Ranch. That would be less often searched and thus would make it cheaper for you to try to use it, to rank, and to defend it with some ad spend. Think of some names and search those names online and see if anybody's got any big space for these names. Your whole business can have a brand, which is nice. But your each individual Airbnb listing could also have its own name. And with what we've seen with design trends, I think that naming each individual listing is going to be smart, especially if they're houses. If you have an apartment building, which I tend to do lots of, we can take that portfolio and give it a name. That's probably more responsible. Many of you have houses, so take this singular approach. Next, we have to decide where to put that name in our Airbnb listing. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. They will put the name Cherry Farmland Ranch in the title. And that's a bad place to put it for a couple of reasons. First reason is when someone discovers your listing on Airbnb, it first pops up in a search with a bunch of other listings. And the one thing that does all of the work to get you a click is usually the hero photo. Your second opportunity to influence the click is through your title. Cherry Farmland Ranch won't increase your click-through percentage. But to say that you have a hot tub or a king bed or that you're on 1,000 acres or something else that says there's more to this property than my hero photo, you can design your title to get clicks. A better click-through rate gives you more first-page impressions, more total views. You know what's great? As soon as someone clicks on your listing, they're very quickly going to be able to find the very first sentence of your description. This might be the very first place that you could put Cherry Farmland Ranch. And you can put it all caps and then put a colon and then start to write your copy. Otherwise, you can write some good copy that uses second-person language, uses the word you a lot, and uses sensory language so people can feel, see, touch, smell, all of that. And after a paragraph or two at max, not too much, you can end with, "Welcome to Cherry Farmland Ranch." So it's either the very first thing you write in your description or it's the last line of the first section. Either way, I would repeat Cherry Farmland Ranch as the very first thing that you'd write in the second section, which is the space. Here at Cherry Farmland Ranch, all caps, and then deliver your space segment. The reason why is repetition will create memory, hopefully. This is us swinging the bat that somebody will search on Airbnb. You're going to make a good, solid impression with your photos, a little bit of copywriting, and then that memory from the description. And they'll leave Airbnb one day and they'll remember, oh, what's that listing that was on Airbnb that we liked? Cherry Farmland Ranch. Now, here's what's wild. If you nail your SEO and your listing title is unique enough, you may not need to spend money on people finding you. Cherry Farmland Ranch might be enough for someone to get to your website, and you get to do it for free. That would be really, really cool. But some of you have named your listings something a little tough, and it's going to be hard for you to rank on the first page with SEO. And also, even if you had Cherry Farmland Ranch as your title, Airbnb might still show up before you. You could try your best to show up as number one, but Airbnb has that in their metadata. So they might actually jump ahead of you. Your VRBO listing might jump ahead. And these OTAs are getting first line search when people are looking for you directly. Or they aren't looking for you directly yet because they expect to find you on Airbnb. So what we often then have to do is spend just a little bit of money on a keyword campaign that aligns with your brand. And some of you might go, that's absolutely wild. Why would I have to use a keyword campaign and pay money for my brand name? My brand name, people are looking for me, they should find me. But this example of Airbnb jumping to the top is the reason why. This could be some of the cheapest ad spend that you ever have. And if only the times that you come up on search is when someone is actually looking for you and they're willing to book with you, they have high intention, then not paying Airbnb their 15.5% is totally worth that couple cents or dollar-ish of ad spend. Isn't that amazing? So it could be some of the highest ROI ad spend you could ever have is to give yourself a title that someone will remember. And on the rare case that they're looking to find you again, you're only spending money on exact keyword searches, maybe even some typos. So that way you're not paying very often at all. And you're only paying in those prime cases that you don't want Airbnb to be first because someone was looking for you in the first place. And you can find out if you need to spend this money. If you create a brand name and you have a website, and you search your brand name, and your Airbnb listing pops up before your website, then you would know that you need to spend some money. But that search will tell you if your way cool name gives you position, or if you're going to have to pay to cut in front of a OTA. And we can expand beyond this if you want a little bonus. Even if you're not using your name as a branded search, you could use searches for bottleneck amenities and show up at the top of search for something that you have that maybe another 100 listings have in a city like Dallas. That's still very rare, but you want to make sure that people see your listing first. So in my case, I've got houses with pianos. So I can make an ad spend for Airbnbs with pianos, or short-term rentals with pianos, or apartments or houses with pianos, STRs with pianos, places to stay with pianos, and I can have an ad spend search where one of the most profound amenities that I have for some of my houses puts me at the very top. And instead of me having to compete with another property or 10 or 20 or 50 that have pianos, I can rocket to the top for just a few cents. That is the beauty of a rare word combination on Google. Other people are not spending money to capture that search. Let me close it out with this for you. The way that search works is on a bid basis. If I wanted to show you this video under the word Airbnb, and somebody else had a software that they wanted to show you a video for under Airbnb, and Airbnb had a new commercial that they wanted to show you under the word Airbnb, we would all have to bid for that space. And because we're all bidding, the prices go up and we spend more money. But if no one is bidding on the keyword combination at all, I basically get to set my price. Google wants to have some ads on everything. I can make my stuff 5 cents or 2 cents or a cent per click. If no one is in that search combination, then I get a win. So I would like you to do a little research if this is of interest to you. Find out how you rank with your direct booking website. Find out also if there's any word combinations that work for you. That there might still be 50 or something listings you need to compete with, but no one's really paying for presence on those searches. So that way you can off-platform people on a bottleneck amenity. And just like last video about OTAs and channels, I want to make you a promise. You could set up 20 keyword combinations, and if nobody ever searches them, you don't pay a single cent. So this is a risk-free approach if you do it correctly. So my friends, a word of caution. Instead of you shotgun blasting ad campaigns, Airbnbs in the Smoky Mountains or something so generic, take the opposite direction. It's better to take something that is way too specific that never gets searched, but doesn't burn out your ad spend, than to do something overly generic that you can't compete to win in, and you end up spending tens of thousands of dollars and don't really get many impressions at all. And when you do get impressions, you still don't get the booking because you weren't the right fit in the first place. Every keyword campaign is a line in the water. You can have 1,000 fishing rods that never get a bite. But as long as every fishing rod is perfectly designed, when you do get a bite, you're going to get good money and you're going to get it done on the cheap. This is just labor intensive at this point in time. If you want to learn more about how to go multi-channel, how to get direct bookings, how to beat your competitors, how to make your listings better than everybody else's, how to change your rates at the right time to maximize revenue or maximize occupancy, this is the channel to learn everything in the short-term rental market. We're the biggest in the world now, by the way, and thank you for being a part of that. I love to have your support. You're the best. And let me leave you my last video about channels right here. You're going to learn a ton about how OTAs are working in 2025, and it might surprise you. Thanks again for watching this all the way through to the end, and I'll see you on the other side.